Hey guys, what's going on? This is going to be a character spotlight for Banshee, and I won't stay on this screen so that you can just keep hearing her scream over and over. I'm going to navigate away from that screen, but this is a character spotlight for Banshee. This is a new old series that I am going to dedicate my channel towards now. With all of the useless things that Rush Royale has decided to just continue doing. If you want that video, it's the video right before this one. I have had to figure out a way to want to create content, and that way is taking units that I playtest like a bunch and think are pretty good, or how good could they possibly be, and do a specifically dedicated character spotlight for each of them, in order for you to understand how to play the card in a specific way at the time that I'm playing it. So a lot of these videos are really outdated. This Blade Dancer, I did 2 Blade Dancer videos, and they're both kind of outdated. New strategies have come out, new units have come out, and so I really want to do, I think Blade Dancer is probably going to be next. I did these 2 Blade Dancer videos, I did this Blade Dancer video. I'm probably going to delete them and do a new one, and so as I add more character spotlight videos, they're all going to be in this playlist. If you go onto my channel, the current ones that I have done a complete Tesla guide and a complete Treant gunslinger guide, and so obviously this one is going to be Banshee. And I do want to talk about the unit first, and so that you understand how this works. The way that Banshee works is it works on the Necromancer edge. So the tiles on the edges where Necromancer would normally affect those units and lock them out. Ironically, nothing locks out Banshee. Banshee always attacks, whether or not it's being locked out by a Necromancer or locked out by a Golem. It always has the ability to attack. And so that's pretty cool for it. And the way that it works is when you, it doesn't have a mana ability. When you activate the mana, when you do the mana activation, what will happen is all of your Banshees will attack with a combined strength of how much all of the Banshees that you have on the field, it will all combine strength and then attack everything on the field. Now, the most important thing to note if you are going to play Banshee is you can only basically play it if you have the 15 talent unlocked. The 15 talent is the Banshee's Wail, and it's literally the only way this deck even works, as well as it does. So I will talk about that first, and then go back into all of the other ones and showcase why each of the ones that I picked are the correct choices. But the Banshee's Wail is the critical attack chance is increased by 5%, which isn't a lot, but it's something. But more importantly, while the Shriek is activated, which is the mana activation, bosses and mini-bosses lose their ability for 4 seconds. So, for 4 seconds, your all bosses, cannot do any of their abilities. If they have an ability where when they die, the thing happens, that still happens, but they can't activate abilities. So that includes everything, and it includes Tribunal, which is pretty important because Tribunal, given once you start going into the later ends of the game, Tribunals, if you can't kill them instantly for any normal deck that doesn't have a Banshee, if you can't kill them instantly, your entire half of your field gets downgraded. But with Banshee, you always have 4 extra seconds when the Tribunal comes out, and you have your Banshee available. You have 4 extra seconds to kill it. Everything else already has a cooldown, or has a delay time. So, for instance, like a Bedlam, even when you don't have a Banshee, it takes the Bedlam a little bit in order to use its ability. And then you could theoretically, if it's your first boss, you could theoretically wait a couple of seconds, then activate it, then have 4 seconds from then for the Bedlam to then use its ability. So you can time it out like that. Or let's say maybe your first boss is a trainer, or not a trainer. I can't even remember. Is it a trainer? Are they called trainers? They're not called trainers. I think I just haven't had, or I haven't seen it in such a long time. Oh my god, what is it called? A tamer. Yeah. So like, let's say your first boss is like a tamer, and then your second boss is like a Bedlam. You could theoretically wait for the tamer, because the tamer isn't going to do anything, right? You could then activate it a couple of seconds after the Bedlam comes out, and then it'll destroy everything on the field, and you have longer activation for your next wave. You can play around with that, and I never do. There's so many things that you're focusing on, and I'm not that advanced. Everything that I'm going to talk about in this video, I don't always do all the time, but these are things that you could do once you get really good at playing this deck. You can look at the bosses, and if the first boss isn't important, you can literally just wait for your second boss. And if your second boss is not a tribunal, you can also wait a couple of seconds before the next boss even attempts to activate its ability, because unlike tribunal, most bosses have a delay period. Anyway, so that's the reason why you would play a Banshee, and it's because of the Banshee's Wail. Being able to negate a boss ability and having those extra seconds of time to kill a boss is why this deck is so good. The main purpose of this build, there is a budget-friendly version for this. It's kind of like an enchant sword. You can use a trapper instead of the gunslinger. You do have to run the scrapper, and you do have to run the earth elemental, but the other 2 spots are kind of a little bit more flexible. Enchant sword is the only thing that I would recommend. Obviously, Night Statue is not. Actually, I didn't even talk about that. Banshee is unaffected by speed. So your spears, your equipment spear, is not going to do anything. If you add a Night Statue and put it on a Banshee line, it is not going to do anything. Banshee's attack speed cannot be either increased or decreased. It's always just active, and it's always area of effect. I'll talk about Gunslinger really quick. It's the normal things that you would see, except I'm sorry. It's the normal things that you would normally see. So I'm using Mariachi, Lucky Shot, and then some people use Quick Bandage. I think that you need so much mana once it starts getting into the later portions of the game, and you'll see how much mana you run through, because it is a very scrapper heavy deck. You are trying to upgrade a lot of things. Now, with Ghost Link, if you don't run Mari, and if you don't have a high-level Mari, I would suggest Ghost Link over High Charisma. The reason why I'm running Ghost Link is specifically because I have the Mari, and it sounded repetitive to use both Ghost Link as well as the Mari ability, which is the damage transfer unstable connection. You have a 13% damage transfer just because, and so I don't really feel the need to run the 5% damage connection with this one, and I'd rather run High Charisma specifically for my build, and I will go into that at a certain point. And then with Kobold, you're just running the normal things, left, right. The Miner's Light is going to be amazing for you because you're getting plus 21% if you get it to level 7. You're just getting plus 21% for all of your field. And so you get plus 21% crit damage. With the equipment, I would run Chainmail. I think Chainmail or Mage Robe are the 2 top equipment right now for your what is it? Your not your shield piece. Weapon, amulet, clothing piece. I don't know. I don't even know what are these called. Armor. For your armor piece. Your armor piece. I want to say the two top ones right now are either Chainmail or Mana Robe. Denying your opponent mana is always going to be good. And then with Chainmail, making them have to deal more damage to both bosses and mini bosses in a Phantom mode is going to be very, very strong. I'm running Hunter's Jacket specifically because it's Forest Faction and everything else that I have is Forest Faction, so I can benefit for the 3-item set piece. But that's really the only reason why I'm running a Hunter's Jacket. I would recommend either the Crit Bow. The Crit Bow is probably going to be your best bet. I think that all of your damage from your Banshee is going to be crit damage. And the only other option that you have is Sword. You can run Sword. I think it's still fine. Obviously, you're not going to run Spear because, like I said, Banshee is unaffected by attack speed, either positively or negatively. If they are running Clock of Power, it's not going to affect Banshee at all. But then if you run Spear, it's also not going to affect Banshee at all. And then Amulet of Swiftness. You have to run Amulet of Swiftness, giving a flat 25% bonus to everything. But in the case of this, because I have Dark, giving a flat 56% bonus to everything is very strong. There's no reason why you would run a growth tile. You could luck out and get a growth tile on an edge tile, on one of the 4 edge tiles that you need, but it's not likely. Or it's not worth the risk, I guess is what I should say. Getting the flat 56% for your Amulet of Swiftness on all of your things is just strictly better. Magic Amulet, the same thing. And then you could run an Amulet of Weakness, but if you're not running like a Hunter's Jacket and an Amulet of Weakness, like what is that really doing? And so your best bet is to run an Amulet of Swiftness. Earth Elemental works because it works. The way that this works, if you don't understand how this works, Earth Elemental tosses... It every so often it tosses a special flask. When that flask hits a thing, it gets an infection charge. When infection charges stack, and so they have the ability to make anything that has venom damage do more damage. And so at a level 1, it has a activation interval for when it happens. So it has a regular attack, and then once you pump this to max, every 6 seconds it will throw a flask at 3 targets. Obviously the first 3 targets, and then that just keeps going up as your Earth Elemental goes up. And so it has the ability to throw 9 flasks at the first 9 things. I'm not sure if there's only one thing, if it throws 9 flasks on the one thing, but I just know that the venom damage is insane. The regular damage is insane as well. And when it throws flasks every 6 seconds, which you cannot manipulate, it's an activation chance that even with speed, you are not modifying that. It is always 6 seconds. What you are modifying is its venom damage. Every time it throws a flask, it has additional venom damage. As you can see, it has regular damage, and then once you get stacks onto the thing because of the flasks, it will also do venom damage. And so what you'll see is, because I'm running high charisma, as opposed to the Ghostling, again, because the Mari has a damage transfer anyway, and it feels repetitive, the high charisma is actually allowing my Earth Elementals to do more damage. I'll get into that when I show you the board, what you're trying to look for your final board position. But I do want to talk about Mari, because Mari is the thing that really changed the game on this. The reason why I'm able to run a Mari, because most people would run a Mermaid. I run counterspells on all my equipment. It's how I've spec'd out my equipment. I just get a max I get every single piece of gear that I have. I always try to re-roll for counter spells, and so as you can see, pretty much everything has counter spells. And so I have triple counterspell. I even have this gold counterspell, which is really cool. And that's how I'm able to skirt around not having a mermaid. But because of that, Mari changed the game for this deck. And there's a lot of things that I could talk about. Doing the monster speed alteration. Once you get to the late game where monsters get speedy anyway, monsters increase speed, they increase armor. It starts to, as the game progresses, it gets harder and harder to just kill monsters, but they start getting faster. You're also giving them an extra 25% speed, and that starts to stack up and that starts to get insane. You're also giving them health every single time you merge things. Whenever you use your Mari activation, you're also getting rid of the waves, so that's also helping that out. But it's also giving you 3 charges. Whenever you merge something, you are gaining stacks. Those stacks are giving you 2% jelly health per charge. So every time you use your activation and you merge 3 things, you're getting 6% health to your jellies that you are then sending to their side, which are also gaining 25% bonus, and that just starts to stack over the course of the game. It's not uncommon to end a Banshee game with like 90 plus stacks. You're gaining damage per charge, or every time you get a stack, you are gaining a 1% damage bonus to your entire field, up to 50%. So once you have 50 stacks, this stops doing anything. But the fact that you're also gaining a 50% damage bonus just flat is also amazing. This one, like I said, is the damage transfer, and that is also pretty good. And this is the thing that is it this? Maybe it's not this. No, it's this. Okay, I'll go back to that. You're also gaining an armor modification, so you are gonna do 20% monster armor destruction, which is just another way to do monster armor destruction. You're getting the gunslinger armor destruction. You're getting scrapper armor destruction with your acrid waste. And then when I go back into talents with your infirmity, you're also getting 15% armor reduction off of that as well. And that is the basis of all of your armor destruction. So it's also very strong in armor destruction as well. But the real reason why Mari is so good, and the real reason why I think that everybody switched to Mari, when you try to scrapper your field, there's a big problem with Banshee. Banshees have the ability, because what you have to do with Banshees is not only do you need the 4 on the outside, but every single time you have a Banshee on the inside squares, those give charges to your Banshees on the outside squares, up to a maximum of 10. So now, doing the math, if you have 4 Banshees, you now need 40 levels of Banshees in order to get a maximum Banshee. But you also need to get those Banshees to a level 7 as well, and all of that is very difficult. With the amount of things that are going to be on your field, including Earth Elementals, because as you level up Earth Elementals, they start throwing flasks at more and more things, so you also want to level those up. You also have a singular Kobold that you also want to level up so that you get the 21% off of the level 13 ability. The problem with this deck, when you didn't have Mari, is that if you had a level 1 Banshee on the field that for some reason just never got a level up, but you sacrificed 10 Banshees and it's a level 1 but with 10 stacks of 10 Banshee stacks, and it got Red Guide and it got like the Burning Blaze, or it got Tribunaled, like you just lost all of your time, all of your energy, to sacrifice and, you know, time out your sacrifices, and then your level 1 could potentially die. The thing that Mari gives you is that when you max this out, your first thing is a chance to spawn a slug unit. Your slug unit, as you can see, when he merges, you have a chance to get that slug and you can level up a card. It doesn't happen very often, so don't use this as a way to level up your cards. It's a 20% chance to get a Dryad, essentially. And so the fact that you're able to have a maximum value out of a scrapper, but also every so often get level 1 Dryads is so strong. Being able to save a level 1 Banshee and make it a level 2 so that it doesn't auto die to a Blazing Burn and it doesn't auto die to a Tribunal is huge. Getting one of your slugs and being able to give a level 1 to your or make your first Gunslinger a level 2. Maybe you keep merging out things to get a level 2, to merge into a level 2 Banshee, and it just never happens. You can also use the slug to just give yourself an automatic level 2. You can also give you can upgrade a singular Earth Elemental so that it's a level 2. Anything to get out of Tribunal and Blazing Burn range is going to be good. When you were running Mermaid, sometimes the Mermaid bubble just won't be on your level 1 Banshee, and then you lose it. And it felt so bad. There was no way to manipulate scrappers. You don't want to run Dryad, because if you have Banshees in the center, I tried doing it and it just doesn't work. What happens is, if you have Dryads in the center, if you have Banshees in the center, you start not being able to get rid of them if all of your Banshees on the outside already have max stacks. And then all of a sudden your Banshees shut off and they become inactive, and then your damage falls. And if you can't get rid of them by getting another Banshee and merging the 2 Banshees and hoping that it doesn't merge into a level 2 Banshee, then you could just die. And so you need Scrapper to get rid of everything. The thing that you're trying to get to is essentially this kind of board state. And this is, I don't think this is the gameplay that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a bunch of different things, but this is what you're trying to do. And so what you're doing is this Banshee right here. I like putting it right here because I like that it has the ability to kill everything that's on this line. A lot of people like putting a Banshee here, but what I found is that it only reaches up to here, and for the most part, boss-wise, your bosses will, you know what, it's not even bosses. I don't know, I like being able to auto kill everything in this range. I find that if you run it on the top, if you run it right here and it only reaches here, monsters have the ability to go into this area. And if enough monsters late game go into that area, and spawn in, and you can't kill them because it's out of the range, now you're just giving your opponent, you're letting your opponent give you a bigger boss, and that's just bad for no reason. You could literally just have it here, and then be able to kill pretty much everything with a high enough level Banshee right here. Not only are you protecting yourself from the gate, but you're protecting yourself essentially for this entire line. The other thing that I see a lot of people do is that they'll put their Banshees on this side, and that's presumably so that it can save them if it goes if the line starts coming down this way. But I think that if the line starts coming down that way, you're probably going to die anyway. You're probably dead. You're probably losing. And having a Banshee over here is not really going to save you. What I did with this strategy is I put all 3 of my Banshees right here because this is where your Phantom boss is going to come out. You don't want to use your activation during Phantom mode, because like I said, you could manipulate when you use it. Theoretically, if you pay attention to the bosses and the order at which your bosses are going to come out. In the example where I gave you, where I said if you had a tamer and then a bedlam and then a tribunal, you could not activate during the tamer. You could wait a little bit for the bedlam and then activate there, and then you'll have it for the wave on the next wave, even longer than you normally would if you just activated it during the tamer. And so you could manipulate the amount of value you get out of your Banshee ability. So what you want to do instead is have all three right here, and it'll auto kill, or it'll do as much damage as it possibly can to the boss. I also like the idea that because they're all right there, what's happening as well is that they're all benefiting each other. So if you have if you have one that's a 4 and you have one that's a 3 and you have one that's a 5, it's all of the damage is being collated. There was a strategy that I saw where you do 2 right here and then 2 right here, and I didn't like it because I didn't feel like it. I don't know, like, I just don't like a Banshee right here, and I don't think that this one right here has the ability to reach over here. I don't know, it just felt like a very clunky kind of setup. I tried it for a couple of games, and I don't know, I really like the setup the most. For your kobold squares, you want your kobold squares anywhere basically in this square. So for the example of this one, I have a kobold square here and here, and that's perfect. It can be any of these 2 squares, because what you want to do on the outsides is put all of your earth elementals. You're going to run 5 earth elementals, and you're basically just going to put them in all of these squares, so that every time you summon in, you're summoning in inside the main square, and every time you summon in a Banshee, your Banshees are giving your outside Banshee stacks. So this one right here already has 10 stacks, this one right here has 6 stacks, this one here has 9, and then this one here has 6. The maximum is 10. And so every single Banshee that you summon in here, there's a delay period where it goes to sleep. It will deactivate all of your Banshees, so you're doing a little bit less damage, or a lot less damage. And so you do have to time out you have to do like a little push and pull with how much you have them. That's why you want to have you want to start this process very early on in your setup process. You want to get your Banshees the maximum amount of stacks that you possibly can early on in the game, because if you start trying to do that late game and you shut off your Banshees, you're gonna die. And so once you have 10 stacks on all of your Banshees, you can immediately start just erasing all of your Banshees that you summon in. All of your Banshees that you summon in now become scrapper food, and that's when the game starts to become really, really easy. The reason for this setup here is for my gunslinger. When you move a gunslinger, if you're using high charisma, what it's doing is it's giving you when you move it, so let's say I move it to right here, it's giving the gunslinger is now going to affect everything in this square, which means that it's going to hit both of your earth elementals, and like I said before, your earth elementals will not only do damage, but it'll also do venom damage, and so you're giving more speed to your earth elementals in order for their regular attack to do more damage. It's not going to affect your Banshees, but I find that if you do have a high enough Mari with the damage transfer, you don't need the extra Ghostling transfer, and I think the extra damage or the extra speed that you can give to your earth elementals, even though it's not a lot, it is something because you're running so many. So once once you do switches to both of these spots, you're basically giving your entire field, which means all of your earth elementals, extra attack speed in order for them to do extra damage as well. And that's why I run high charisma. So there are, okay, so I have to go back now. Oh, I know what's happening. It's because I have that open. There we go. Now I'm going to talk about the Banshee abilities. There's two ways to run Banshee, and I'm not even going to show you the one that nobody uses. They just upgraded it so that you can run 6 instead of 7, but it's essentially you're running too many things, and it feels like so with Coven. Your Banshee damage is increased by 18% for every Banshee in the chain, and then you have the maximum benefit of when you get to 6 Banshees. Now, I'm going to show you how to play Solitude, and once you play Solitude, and you're only running 4, imagine running 2 more Banshees and having to do all the things that you're doing for 4 Banshees. It's crazy. 4 Banshees is an insane ask because you're not only upgrading 4 Banshees, but you're also upgrading 5 Earth Elementals and a Gunslinger and a Kobold. If you tried to do this and you ran 6 and 5 and 1 and 1, it's just too many things. Not to mention the extra 2 Banshees that you're trying to run with a Coven. You also need 20 more Banshees in order to sacrifice to your other 2 extra Banshees to maximize your damage. Solitude is just better. It's just easier. It's more streamlined. And then with that, you're also increasing the attack radius by 30% and the damage by 35%. The more important aspect of this is the 35% additional damage that you're just flat getting, just because you're running Solitude, which makes it just better. There are 2 for the middle one. Obviously, with Growing Anger, that is obviously supposed to be for Coven. Because you're running so many Banshees, you have a 10% chance to increase the merge rank of a random Banshee. The chance increases by 5% for every Banshee on the field. So with 6, you're getting a 40% chance to upgrade a Banshee every time you use the activated ability. Now, there's 2 problems with that. Problem number 1, it's not even a good coin toss. So it's going to happen less than half the time for even one random one to upgrade. But the real problem is this makes you want to press the activated ability all the time. Just whenever it comes off of activation, you just want to press it again to get that extra chance, to get the maximum amount of chance. And that's a problem because then it makes you start doing bad bosses. What if you don't have it for the boss? What if you just get warlocked? Now, then you could say that you can save it for the boss, but if you save it for the boss, then you're not using it all the time. And then you're just using it as much as you would with Solitude. So just play Solitude. And so the other one that you're not, the one that you will be using, if there's 1 or fewer Banshees on the field, merging units results in a new Banshee. Damage of all Banshees is increased by 10%. So again, this is another flat damage 10% that you're just getting just because you're running Solitude as opposed to Coven. So all of the damage that it feels like you're losing from not having 2 extra Banshees on the field, you're regaining by having this one giving you 35% and this one giving you 10%. Now, the first part of this, if there are 1 or fewer Banshees on the field, merging units result in a new Banshee. The way that this works is amazing. And I'm going to show you a video because this is one of the most important aspects of your gameplay. Maybe. Okay, it is this one. Okay, so this is what's happening. This is the beginning of the game, and I currently have, where's my, here we go. This is the beginning of the game, and I currently have one Banshee right here. This is where you want your first Banshee to be, because it's going to allow you to kill the line. What this means is that if I were to merge anywhere on the field, I would now obtain a Banshee because it's one or fewer. So if you don't even have a Banshee at all, you could merge two things and then gain a Banshee. But if you have one, you can also merge two things and get a Banshee. So what you're trying to do here is what you're trying to do here is get a Banshee. And so I summoned in and my entire field, and I still didn't get a second Banshee. So what I decided to do was I moved it, and then I merged into the square that I was at, and I gained a Banshee. Now what I'm going to do here is merge again. Oh, I think I got a scrapper right there. Yeah, so I got a super lucky scrapper hit. Oh no, I didn't. I was in a frame where that was already a 3, but then I still had the other one. Okay, so this is what's really happening. This is the best opening play for this deck that you could possibly have. What's happening here is I didn't have a I had a level 1 Banshee. Now what I was looking for is a second level 1 Banshee, at which point I could merge the Banshee with that Banshee and get a level 2, and then merge two things and then get a level 3. But even after a full summon in board, I only had the 1. So what I did instead was I moved it, ate it, and then I merged two gunslingers because I don't need this amount of gunslingers to get my first level 2 Banshee. At which point, now you're back down to 1 Banshee on the board again, and if you do another merge, you'll get a level 2. Which is what I do there. And now, with these two level 2s, you can now merge them together, and you'll get a level 3. So right off the bat, I get a level 3 Banshee on my field. My second goal is now every time there's a Banshee, a second Banshee on the field, you're free to merge again, and your merges will become things other than a Banshee, because at that point now you have 2 Banshees on the field. My second thing that I try to do is I try to combine scrappers, and I merge them together in order to get 2 level 3s. So I'll do that at some point here. But see, now I have I have these other 2 Banshees on the field, and what that's going to do is they're asleep, and they're going to give stacks to the my 1 Banshee. So there's a stack, there's another stack. You're gaining a stack for every level for every Banshee level that you have on the field. So if you have a level 3 on the field, it'll go down to a level 2 and give something a stack, and then it'll go down to a 1 and give something a stack, and then it'll completely disappear. When you have your Banshees on the field that are 2 or more, you can freely merge your scrappers. You can combine your scrappers, and that's what I'm doing in this middle square on the top. So right now I have a level 3. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep a Banshee on the field and merge my scrappers. So right here, I don't have another Banshee on... oh, no, I'm sorry. I still have a Banshee on the field. I get this level 1 slug. Right here, I'm able to merge into another level 3. I get a super lucky scrapper hit to make my level 3 Banshee a level 4. This Banshee in the middle is going to get sucked into the Banshee, giving me a 7th stack, and I'm already full set up. So right here, this level 2 Banshee is going to suck into the regular Banshee, giving me 9 stacks. So I already have almost max stacks on my 1 Banshee. I now will have max stack on my 1 Banshee. I can simply just sit here and wait for this Banshee to go away, and then merge the 2 3s, and then I get a level 4. So now, right off the bat, wave 2, I have 2 level 4s. These 2 spots are pretty much where you want to be. This one is going to protect your lane from getting too crazy, and this one is going to do damage to your Phantom, so that you don't have to activate during Phantom mode, and you can save it for your boss. And that's basically what you want. That's what you want for your opening setup. My tiles right now, my Kobold tiles are these 2 tiles. I don't want this tile on the side. I want all of my outer edges for Earth Elementals, so that I can summon into the square, so that every time I summon in, my Banshees are already inside the square, and it just makes it easier. And so you want to keep pressing the Kobold button as well, in order to get all of your squares in the center. I have one more video, and this is an end game video. This is what's going to happen towards the end of your game. And you can see this insanity. So right now I have a Banshee. I had right there. I had a Banshee. I had a 5th Banshee, and you'll see the Banshees as being like grayed out. It's because they are inactive and doing less damage. Once that goes away, they light up again, and then they're doing maximum damage. I want my Gunslinger in these 2 the Knight Statue spots, the 2 Covenant of Veteran Knight Statue spots. In these 2 spots, and then you just want to switch them so that you're giving all of your Earth Elementals and basically your entire field the high Charisma attack speed bonus. Right here I have a level 3 Slug. That's technically going to help if it goes to a level 4. If it just randomly decides to get upgraded, I can give it to one of my Earth Elementals and level a Earth Elemental up that way, which is good. I will pause on this next one, because when this wave starts, you have, this is wave 16. You want to activate your Gunslinger when you have 20 or more seconds on the clock. If you, as soon as, which is basically at the start of basically every wave, you want your Gunslinger activation. Your Gunslinger activation will reactivate after 20 seconds. And so if you have 20 or more seconds on the clock, which gets tighter and tighter as you progress, this is wave 16. So you have less of a margin for error as the game progresses. Get used to always pressing your Gunslinger activation at the start of every wave. You will save so much mana in that way, because you are using the right side level, the mana ability for your Gunslinger. It will also help you do damage to the wave. I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten to do it, and then I just had to survive off of switches. You can survive off of switches because your switches, your Gunslinger switches, will recover faster than 20 seconds. So if you do have to survive off of that, you can. But what you're trying to do is save your switches for the boss, so that you can use the mana activation for the triple bosses. You want to use your switches for the Phantom, so that you can use your much longer mana activation for the triple bosses. So that's just that's how you're going to do your waves. Don't be afraid to switch as well. Switching is never bad. We have 2 seconds left. So right here, I should be switching here. Or maybe, yeah, there we go. So I'm switching there. I get a 51 billion boss that I send to him. Activate your Gunslinger, activate your Banshee. You have so much extra time to kill bosses. And it just, the deck just does so much damage. It just does a crazy amount of damage. I'm not using my mana activation here, so I have a couple of seconds. No, we've now gone past the threshold for when I have the ability. Yeah, I decided to use it there, which is very bad. Because I have more than 20 seconds. But I think I just figured that he was probably going to die anyway. And so that's how that worked. I'm going to show you an actual gameplay. And with all of that, that's pretty much it for me. I think that was a lot of information. I'm going to play a game here. And it's against Robot. And it's very good. It goes for a pretty long time. So I'm not going to talk through this, and I'm just going to let you watch it and see how I do here. And I don't play this perfectly. I'm still technically, like, there's a lot of, like I've just explained, there's a lot of things there's a lot of nuance with this deck. But that's why I want to do these character spotlight videos, because there's a lot of nuance to a lot of decks. And a lot of people think that it's just, oh, you just set this up in Scrapper. It's like, yeah, but there's individual things. There's ways to optimize every phase of the game. There are smart things that you can do. Being able to get 2 level 4s off of your Spirit of Vengeance ability, being able to get 2 level 4s, not really through Scrappers, but you're even like a level 3 and a level 4, if you don't count the like Scrapper luck hit. Getting a level 3 and a level 4 on wave 2 is huge for your game. And you can basically manipulate the game to do that every single time. And so there's nuance to every single deck. And if you don't play a deck very often, you might think that it's just, oh, get to this end game board state, and that's it. And there's so many ways to get to that. There's so many choices with every single talent, with every single hero that you use, how you utilize a hero, what equipment you use, what talents you use, what units you use. And I've been having a lot of fun with Banshee, and I thought that I would make this Banshee character spotlight. This complete guide. Obviously, in this game, Robot is also very good. I think Robot is probably going to be my next character spotlight. And I'm going to start playing Robot a lot because it's also very strong. I will catch you guys next video. Oh, I guess I did want to say something because I almost forgot. When you are going into boss mode, when you are going into phantoms, you definitely want to make sure that you have space open so that you can use your scrapper ability to eat things so that you can take advantage of acrid waste. I definitely feel the difference between when I remember to acrid waste or remember to eat something so that I can have my acrid waste right there, and then eat stuff again during your regular boss so that you can have acrid waste right there. It's a big difference. Those extra percentages are going to help you. Defense reduction percentages. As you can see right here, I'm at 1380 mana, and I'm not using my mana activation. And every single round, you can backtrace this and watch me not use my mana activation at the beginning of every single round for Gunslinger, and this is what starts to happen. It starts to compile. You're summoning in so much, and you're trying to upgrade so many things. You need to use your mana activation every chance you get on Gunslinger so that you get that extra wave amount of mana, because it's free. You just need more than 20 seconds on the clock and you will have it again. You will have it for this round, this like triple boss round. So right here, it's about to come back, and I have 24 seconds on the clock, and I should be using it right now, and I would be getting so much mana, and I'm just not. There's so many things that you're trying to think about, and so sometimes some things you just forget some things. But that is an example of, oh, I ran out of mana. Like, why don't I have enough mana? And it's because you're not using your mana activation. He sent me a 41 billion damage boss, and I'm just gonna eat through it because this deck does so much damage and it has so much time to do so much damage. Doesn't even matter. It's crazy. It's crazy how much damage this thing does. I had a 1 trillion game that I accidentally deleted. I recorded it, and then I was cleaning out my phone, and I emptied out my trash as well. So I not only deleted it, but you can also go into trash, and I just wanted the phone space back, and so I deleted everything in my trash. And so, yeah, I had a 1 trillion game against, I think it was like Phoenix or something. It was something crazy. Something I knew I wasn't gonna win. He sent me like a 30 billion damage boss. And see, the problem is he can send me a much larger boss, and that's what will happen with this deck. You will probably lose every single phantom. You'll never beat bosses fast enough. That's not the purpose of this deck. You just have so much time to beat bosses that eventually your opponent will you'll start sending your opponent bigger and bigger bosses, because you will be sending your opponent bigger and bigger units and faster units. And if they don't have a trapper, which is exactly what they're not running, if they don't have traps on the field to slow down the waves, what starts to happen over the course of time is that you're sending them so many large units that are both 25% speedy, as well as 80 or 160% healthy, because right now I have 80 stacks and it's times 2 every stack. 160% healthy, and it just starts to compile over the course of the game. And then they start getting enough tribunals, they start getting enough just other things, and because they're not running Banshee, they have to kill every boss in a very speedy manner, and you just have the ability to outlast. They're sending me a 28, I'm sending them a 15, which is solid. He has a Dark Priest on his robot, which is pretty bad for him. Even with a mermaid and potentially counterspells. I assume he probably has counterspells. Or maybe he doesn't have a counterspell. And maybe he just dies because he got Dark Priested. And that's the problem with running robot. Look at all of the bosses, all of the things on his field. He hasn't already... He started with 3 billion. 50, 57. But see, like, right here, he has to kill every single boss immediately. And I have so much time. If you wanted to replay that and watch all 3 of the bosses come out and how fast he needs to kill them and how none of the bosses from my side even activated a single thing. Watch his side right now. That's how fast, like, boss minions start to become. Like, with 25% attack speed, or 25% speed. I just lost the Banshee, and we're so late in the game that it doesn't matter. I used to run this with 3. I feel like the 4th one is just insurance at this point for me, but I used to run this deck with 3. Yeah. I wanted to see if he's not even running counterspells. He's running a double abundance, Morally Gray. I don't like abundance. The fact that he's not running counterspells is crazy. Trying to run a mermaid or trying to run a 2-unit robot deck with just mermaid is crazy to me. But yeah, it's very strong.